Let's talk about Shacharit. The Mishnah refers to Shacharit as Shema and its blessings because the Shema is the sort of center point that the whole rest of the service revolves around. And the Mishnah tells us it's 2 blessings before Shema and 1 after. You can tell a rabbinic blessing, a rabbinic section of liturgy, because it ends with a Baruch Atah Adonai, which is called a chatima, literally a signature, and that wraps that little section off and moves us on to the next. So Shacharit begins with Baruch Hu, which is a sort of formal call to prayer. And then the first blessing before Shema is about creation, exemplified through light, which makes sense both as a morning service and because light was the first thing created in Genesis, and so it sort of stands into the whole rest of creation. And there's slightly different versions for weekday and Shabbat or holidays. On weekdays we say El Baruch, which is a short alphabetical poem. On Shabbat and holidays we say El Adon, which is a longer alphabetical poem. Either way, they have pretty much the same content, and that all ends with Baruch Atah Yotzer HaMe'orot. Thank you, God, for creating the lights. Then we move into Ahava Rabbah, which is all about God's love for us as expressed by revelation, giving us the Torah. And that ends, HaBocher B'Amo Yisrael B'Ahava, who chooses the people of Israel with love. And then we say Shema, and we can talk about that in another video. And then we get to Geulah, redemption, which ends with the whole Michamocha section and Baruch Atah Gal Yisrael, praised are you God who redeems Israel. And that sort of 3-part construction, creation, revelation, redemption, is taken by some thinkers, most notably Franz Rosenzweig, as a sort of archetypal structure of the way Jews see all of time. Time begins with God creating the world, and then God gives us the Torah, and that sort of is God's most potent encounter with us, and our most potent encounter with God, which has echoes through all of time. The redemption from Egypt, which is what Michamocha celebrates, is sort of a foreshadowing of the future redemption that, depending on your theology, we're either waiting for or working towards. And that moves us into the Amidah, which is a whole other kettle of fish, and we'll talk about that in another video. So there you have it. Every time we do Shacharit, we're recapitulating that entire history of the universe, from creation to revelation to redemption.